Sir. This tree wasn't on the list, the young inspector said, his voice tight. Warren's axe hovered midair. He turned to the man, confused. What are you talking about? This tree has a red mark. The inspector knelt by the trunk, running his fingers over the bark. He looked up slowly. Sir, this isn't paint. It's dried blood. Warren dropped the axe. The wind howled through the fruit garden. And for the first time in 30 years of cutting trees, Warren felt something he hadn't felt since he was a boy. Fear. Chapter 1: The Tree Cutter's Routine. Warren Colby was a simple man. He lived in a quiet farmhouse at the edge of Hawthorne County, in upstate New York. He wore the same leather boots every day, oiled his axe with cedar oil, and didn't believe in cell phones. His hands were thick like tree bark, and his back was bent from 30 years of cutting wood. He wasn't rich. He wasn't poor. He just was. Every winter, Warren was hired by landowners, towns, or old orchard families to clean up dead or dangerous trees before spring planting. This year, he was contracted to work on the Ashgrove Fruit Garden, a 200-year-old orchard rumored to be the oldest in the region. He was to cut down 12 marked trees, all tagged with red paint. He arrived on a foggy Tuesday morning, loaded his tools, and walked through rows of bare apple trees. The air smelled of frost and forgotten things. But something was off from the start. Chapter 2: Ashgrove's Silence. There was no one at the old farmhouse when he arrived. The door was padlocked. The windows were dusty. He found the printed instructions left under a stone by the porch. 12 trees. Red marks only. Stay within the east wing. Do not touch the west end rows. Strange. But Warren didn't ask questions. He did the job. And he needed the money. He started at the eastern corner, cutting 2 trees by noon. As he worked, he noticed something odd: the trees weren't dead. They were healthy. Strong roots. Full of life. Still, they had red excess painted across them. A job's a job, he told himself. Until he found tree number 6. Chapter 3: The Tree That Bled. The 6th tree stood alone near the old well. Its bark was smooth. Its branches twisted like a human hand reaching up for help. Warren saw the red mark clearly. Same X as before. But when he struck his axe the first time, it wasn't the thunk of wood. It was softer. Like hitting flesh. He paused, pulled the axe out, and saw a dark, thick liquid oozing from the cut. Not sap. Not water. Blood. He stepped back, confused. Reached out. Touched it. Still warm. What in God's name? He rubbed it between his fingers. The scent hit his nose: iron. Copper. Exactly like blood. He wiped his hands on his coat and looked up at the tree. And for just one moment, it shivered. Chapter 4: The Inspector. Warren left the orchard early that day and called the local land inspector, Milo Thorne, a young man from Albany who handled historical properties. I need you to come to Ashgrove, Warren said. There's something wrong with a tree. Milo arrived the next morning, carrying maps and a notepad. As they walked through the orchard, Warren explained everything. The red marks. The bleeding tree. The feeling of being watched. Milo listened. Quiet. Professional. They reached the 6th tree. Warren pointed. There. That's the one. Milo knelt. Touched the bark. His face changed. Sir, this isn't paint. It's dried blood. That's when Warren dropped the axe. And everything changed. Chapter 5: The Orchard's History. Back at his office, Milo pulled up the historical registry for Ashgrove Garden. What they found chilled them. In 1847, 5 women were buried on the orchard grounds after being accused of witchcraft. In 1903, the orchard was bought by a church, and all records of it were erased. In 1989, A man named Jonas Hale disappeared while trying to cut trees in the West Rows. His axe was found stuck in a tree. Warren rubbed his beard. I don't believe in ghosts. Milo looked up. I don't either. But someone marked that tree with blood. And it wasn't me. Or you. Warren didn't sleep that night. He kept hearing creaking wood outside. But every time he looked, nothing was there. Chapter 6: The Whispering Row. On the fourth day, Warren returned alone. He had to finish the job. There were still 6 trees left. But when he entered the orchard, he saw something horrifying. 3 trees were gone. Cut. Stumps left behind. But not by him. He touched one of the stumps. It was still warm. Fresh. Someone had been cutting in the night. And they had gone into the West End rows, the ones marked forbidden. He followed the tracks in the snow. They led to a tree with no mark. But hanging from its lowest branch was a piece of shirt. His shirt. The same one he wore yesterday. Clean. Neatly folded. And on the collar, written in dark ink. You're not supposed to be here. Chapter 7: The Man in the Orchard. Warren turned and ran. But before he reached the truck, he saw a figure between the trees. A man. No coat. No hat. Face pale. He was holding Warren's axe. And smiling. Warren stopped. Who are you? The man tilted his head. Just someone who lives here. Did you cut those trees? The man looked up at the sky. They asked to be let go. What do you mean? He stepped closer. You're not just cutting wood, Mr. Colby. You're disturbing something old. Something buried. Then, he vanished. No footsteps. No sound. Gone. Chapter 8: Buried Roots. Warren and Milo returned with permission to dig around the 6th tree. They brought shovels, lights, and gear. 3 feet down, they found it. A box. Inside, old bones. A ring. A journal. The journal belonged to Eleanor Finch, one of the women buried in 1847. The final page read, He who cuts the roots of the sacred shall be taken. He who spills blood shall return it. This orchard breathes. And it remembers. Milo shut the book slowly. This place is cursed. Warren shook his head. It's not cursed. It's angry. Chapter 9: Fire in the Grove. That night, the orchard lit up in flames. Neighbors saw it. Reported it. By morning, a dozen trees were burned. But when the fire crew arrived, the trees were still standing. Not charred. Not damaged. Only the surrounding grass had burned. But at the base of tree 6, something new had appeared. A cross. Made of wood. And wrapped with hair. Human hair. Chapter 10: The Final Cut. Warren returned one last time. He walked to the 6th tree, holding the axe. But he didn't raise it. Instead, he spoke. I'm sorry. The wind stopped. The branches above him swayed once. Like a nod. Then the red mark on the bark peeled off by itself, like shedding skin. Warren dropped the axe and walked away. That night, it snowed. Quiet. Heavy. And in the morning, the 6th tree was gone. No stump. No roots. Just grass. Epilogue: Letters in the Earth. Warren retired that spring. Moved to Maine. Bought a boat. Never touched an axe again. Milo transferred to a desk job in Albany. But every so often, they get letters. No sender. No return address. Just one line on a piece of paper. The orchard remembers. And somewhere, deep in Ashgrove soil, the roots shift quietly. Waiting. For the next man who dares to cut what should remain.